What's up guys, my name is Your Heroes and welcome back to more Gates of Hell, and today we are going to be looking at the British faction. Yes, as you know, Gates of Hell has announced that British faction is the next DLC faction coming to the game, so I thought I'd give a review of what the British faction would look like. Now, let me emphasize that would look like. I know I haven't been given early access to the British faction or anything. This is a Valour mod that has a British faction in it, but I thought I'd give my thoughts and my ideas of what the British faction could look like when it does come into the game. So if you guys would like to see more kind of content like this, news updates or any sort of faction review, then make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, hit that like button, and yeah, and click notification bell as well for more content like this. But I do also have to say that I'll be doing this on the late stage of the war. Now I do know that there is an early and a mid stage, but just for, you know, entertainment purposes and for excitement purposes, I will be doing late. And I know there is different type of doctrine units for, you know, for the British. There's all round, defensive, offensive, irregular, and support. But I'm going to go for the one that's the most realistic, as in what I think Gatesville will most likely bring out for units wise, and that is all round for doctrine, which will, for the special units, which will bring out a Cromwell, two types of different crocodiles, artillery signaller, commandos, a tulip, and land mattress. Now I feel like with the other options I had for it, they were quite unrealistic on what they could be, as if we look at, you know, the defensive one, you could see that there is some good artillery, but an archer, I can't see Gatesville actually bringing that out. You know, I could see them bring out maybe a priest and a Churchill and 183mm, but I can't see them bringing out an archer when the game is first implemented, although I do know Gatesville do really like to go into detail with their tanks and their units. But for me, the most realistic one is the all-round one. So I'm going to be showing you, you know, the units, you know, what type of, you know, units they are for infantry, for AT, for tanks, and all sorts of the things like this. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. Okay guys, welcome. So I've set up what I think could come into the game for units wise for the British faction, and as you probably see, maybe one of the main things that might have caught your eye is right here. This is called the land mattress. This is basically just a rocket I would say a rocket launcher, but it's not really a rocket launcher because it's one of these launchers that fires rockets. Therefore, rocket launcher. Never mind. Sorry, bad joke. You get my point though. This is called the emplacement 3-inch land mattress. This thing can absolutely deliver a punch, and even though this is quite a rare unit, I do think Gatesville will add this into the game as some sort of special unit, as is within this doctrine unit, which I do think is possible. And I think this is probably one of the special units because it's just very unique, and I think Gatesville do really go into detail when it comes to new factions. They don't add all the units into a faction to a new faction. They do add more units into new factions with later updates, but I do think this hopefully might be one of the starter, you know, special units that you do get, because if that's true, that'd be very cool. Moving on, and then kind of sticking with kind of artillery AT guns, I do think the 3 AT guns that I think will be put into the game is the quarter pounder, 6 quarter pounder, the 17 quarter pounder, and then the 2 quarter pounder. I think these 3 guns, AT guns, are going to be absolute crucial for the British, and I think these will be the main type of AT guns used for defenses, offenses, whatever it is, mainly defenses. But I would say this is going to be the most expensive one, with being the 17 pounder, and this actually did come under the kind of the AT section here, being one of the biggest AT guns. There is actually, sorry, there's a 25 quarter pounder, but I think that's more of a howitzer than an actual AT gun. But I do think these are the 3 main type of British AT guns that will be added into the game, especially the 2 pounder, which I believe actually was using a lot of tanks as well. So I do really think this is cool. And kind of moving on to that subject is tanks. Now, as you know, the British were very famous for their tanks, especially the Churchill, named after Winston Churchill. And as you can see, that there is 2 types of Churchills here that I've got. Now these are the 2 Churchill tanks that I think, again, will be brought into the game. First one being the A22 Churchill Mark 7, and then you have the A22 Churchill Crocodile, which is basically just a flamethrower version. As you can see, there's a little flamethrower version here, and then you've also just got the machine gun, and they both, I believe, do share the same gun. This has a 75mm and this also have a 75mm, which is actually quite powerful. I really do like, which kind of shares the same, well, actually I would say is probably one of the most powerful guns on the tanks. And then with that, there is of course different types of Churchills you can get. If you look here, you have the Churchill, you know, you have the, where is it, the Churchill Mark 7, and then you go to special units, you have the Churchill Mark 9, and you have the Churchill Crocodile. So there's different types of Churchills that you will get in this game, and I think Gatesville will add in different types of Churchills into this game, along with, of course, the famous Cromwell. Now, I've chosen this one. I know there is, you're probably saying, well, this Cromwell, you know, there are many Cromwells in the British faction that will be released, but this is probably one of the main Cromwells, I think, which is called the Cromwell Mark 1. I think that'll probably want to be the main standard Cromwell that'll be into the game, and I know there's different Cromwells here. You can see that I've got a lot. You've got the Cromwell Mark 1, the Cromwell Mark 4, you have the Cromwell Mark 6, and so on, so on. So there's a lot, and I know there is a Comet as well, which I do think will be in the game, but I might be added later on. And I know you probably see the Sherman as well, and also something that you may see is the A15 Crusader Mark II. I think this will be one of the easier kind of tanks. It's kind of like an AA tank that will be able to take out good infantry and ground targets and AT guns, or any mortar positions that maybe need to be cleared out, especially if there's any, you know, enemy infantry approaching your tanks. I do think this will be absolutely crucial, and I think this will be one of your starting kind of tanks that will be crucial to getting, and which does come under kind of the first tank that you get within the tank kind of section here, which is really cool. And then lastly, I think one of the main kind of really kind of superpower, I guess, tanks is a Sherman Firefly, and I said this in one of my last videos. I think I called this a Sherman knockoff, and one of you said, I think in the comments down below, said that they cried when I said this was a kind of a Sherman knockoff. I mean, it kind of is. I mean, it's got a Sherman hull, it's got a Sherman turret. The only thing that's different is the gun, which is a 76mm quarter pounder, which does carry the same as, so it's slightly bigger than the Churchills. But although I think actually Shermans did carry 76mm guns, but I think this is more of just a British kind of style type of gun. As you can see that with this, I think it is more kind of British style, as you can see, although I could be talking out my ass as usual. So yeah, this is I think one of the gems I think that will come out to the game for the British Army. For the British tanks, and it is kind of in your main kind of section here, and it does cost a lot of money, and I know you've probably seen Achilles as well, but I don't know about that tank coming out. But these are kind of the tanks / AT guns that I do think will come out to the game when it does come out. Now we're kind of going to go on to infantry. Now there is 3 kind of infantry that have been inputted into the game. I was meant to bring out commandos, but I do know that all these units are probably going to come out, you know, as the faction comes out, but I'm just showing you what they're like here. So the first unit I do think is going to be your standard kind of riflemen. I think these guys are going to be automatically in the British faction. I don't think there's any doubt about this. As you can see that this, of course, as I kind of forgot to say, that all these units I think have been imported from Men of War Assault Squad 2. As you can see that the details of these Shermans and these infantry are kind of more Men of War Assault Squad 2 kind of style, but I do believe Gatesville will probably make it more realistic, or make the modelling a lot better with it comes to its units. But you can see that the British are carrying their Sten and Mark 3, and I believe that, I kind of do believe that these will be the units that will be into the game, although I think the Lee Enfield, isn't that, I thought that was American, but I'm not sure with my gun history. Again, let me know if the Lee Enfield is American or British. But this is your standard infantry, nothing interesting. It is quite a lot of infantry for kind of a standard. I think the infantry units will be reduced, you know, for size wise. I think there'll maybe be about 6 or 7. I don't think as many as this, but yeah, this is just standard for what it is. Next, these are the para SMGs, the paratroops, or what do you call them? They're called regular squad. Or sorry, these are paratroopers. Yeah, these are paratroopers. Slightly different from your regular squad, but these guys are a wee bit more dangerous. So these guys carry the, again, Lee Enfield gun, and one of them carries a MG as an MG operator. I don't know. It looks like it says carries the Bren. I definitely know that definitely does sound quite British, so I am presuming it is British gun. They've also carrying their Sten Mark II, which is very kind of, again, sounds very British, doesn't it? Although I don't know if they're kind of like just copied over from bit of Assault Squad 2. So yeah, definitely I think the paratroopers will be added into the game with the British gun. And lastly, overall you have just the regular squad, which does come with an MG operator and again just a regular kind of infantry. They probably have more hit points than your kind of your starter infantry, your light infantry, and there's probably a lot more infantry. There's a lot more of them, and you can see one of them does actually carry a grenade. Right, there's a rifle grenadier. So, and I don't know what gun he said. It's just rifle grenadier number 4. I think that's maybe just part of the mod as well. But yeah, you can see that these are actually really well detailed for kind of British look, because they don't look like your standard kind of infantry for America or Russia. You can definitely tell the distinction between this, and yeah, I think these are going to be another type of infantry group coming out to the faction when it does come out. So there you go, guys. That is my review on the British faction. Hopefully, this is my prediction, what I think that all the units that will be coming out to Gatesville. I do think the land matches is a wee bit of a stretch coming out. I think that might be added later on, but I'm still quite confident they'll go in, because Gatesville is usually very good to put in like lots of types of new units when it comes to a new faction. So there you go, guys. That is it for today. Let me know what your thoughts are on the British faction. Do you agree with me that these are the type of units coming out, or do you think you disagree and you maybe think that this land mattress could be coming out a later update, or there's other units that you think could be coming into the British faction at an earlier or later stage? Let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching and our support. And if you want to check out the latest update of when the Airborne DLC will be released, then click left here now. But other than that, thank you so much for watching and our support, and I will see you in the next video. See you later, and goodbye.